And now to the sometimes unfathomable business of management consultancy, which in these challenging times for corporates has plenty to pitch. One of the old Big Four, Booz and Company, says its firm has grown 20% in the last year in Australia and also by 20% in the US, a pretty mature market these days. Cesare Minardi took up the top job as global chief at Booz in April. He's in Australia this week and I caught up with him earlier. Cesare Minardi, welcome to the programme.
It's good to be here, Tiki.
You were in Australia talking to chief executives, I understand, about 18 months ago. Have you noticed any change in the mood here?
Actually, I've noticed a dramatic change. And 18 months ago, I was almost ready to move to Australia. Everybody was quite positive and talking about growth. And the mood's a little different now. And many chief executives are talking about cost pressure and transformation.
So what does that mean in terms of the medicine that you dole out? How has the Booz strategy, if you like, changed post-financial crisis?
Well, it changed post-financial crisis, but we were also doing some of this work beforehand. What amazed us was that at the time of the downturn, we ran a survey of top executives worldwide, and we asked them, how did you address the downturn? And 80% of executives, as sophisticated as we've become everywhere, just cut cost across the board. And it struck us that that can't be right, that the moment of significant cost reduction is a moment for strategy, and it's a moment to be clear about what's really important in a business.
You're the architect behind this Booz thinking on capabilities-driven strategy. How important are those differentiating capabilities, I suppose, when you're just trying to survive? I'm thinking in Australia, for example, of the manufacturing sector, the retail sector.
Well, survival comes from being able to meet a market need better than anybody else. And we've discovered that that has a lot to do with what it is that you do better than anybody else, and that's capabilities. And so a choice about what we will do well, and if we're in the question of survival, how do we take few precious resources and focus it on what matters, is the big question in business.
One of the companies here, which I suspect will be a central casting for a business studies case study, is of course Fairfax. When you look at Fairfax, if you like, as an outsider, what comment would you make about the company now, and can they ever be successful again, do you think?
Well, I wouldn't comment on Fairfax, but it causes me to think about a similar company, and this was Dow Jones and the Wall Street Journal. And in 2000, the Wall Street Journal was one of the largest contributors to the Dow Jones portfolio, and they were in steady decline because of the onslaught of online media. And it would have been easy to give up, and it would have been easy to just restructure and cause that thing to lose share slowly but profitably. And instead they doubled down on the business, and they realized that, well, if they could add a little more lifestyle coverage, and if they could launch a Saturday edition, and if they could change the look of the newspaper itself, they could dramatically change readership, and they did. And in fact, now they've driven a fair amount of growth in a declining industry, and they've become a newspaper of record in the United States. And so there's quite some success stories around choosing to do something that others don't do, and building the capabilities to do it well.
We're now in a world, Cesare, where access to data and raw information is no longer your preserve, the preserve of management consultancy. How are you planning to add value now?
Well, the question is what to do with that data. And digitization is happening everywhere, and we have this onslaught of information. But now what do we do? And just for example, today I was having conversations with various clients about this. And we were talking about, for example, consumer insight. And well, for what? And for some companies it might be around the product itself and what do I need in the product. For other companies that insight might be around the experience of the shopper in the store, for instance.
Given the disruptive forces of the internet and the way that people are seeking solutions now, has the reaction of the Big Four consultancies impacted their ranking at all?
Everybody is working hard to differentiate. What we've bet on is this notion that we help our clients identify the capabilities that they need to outperform. And we've looked industry after industry, and where we've looked and where we've put ourselves in a position to help them build capabilities, we've driven a lot of growth.
Cesare, let me ask you about Asia, because we've recently had the Asian Development Bank Outlook, which said that ASEAN collectively has a growth of 5.6% next year and even higher after that. How are you looking at clients down here to help them to get into those countries, and in particular a country like Indonesia?
I'll give you an example, but from a different region, the Middle East. Right? And it certainly applies here. I was in the Middle East not too long ago. And many different nation states are thinking about diversification beyond the energy sector, and many large corporations are thinking about that. And what struck them was that to prevail in doing that, they have lots of capital, lots of ability to invest in many things. What struck them was that they would have to build companies that had a better winning value proposition to actually secure share and to take a region by storm or to take the world by storm. And so what it requires is a better value proposition. It's not just participation choices, but an ability to do something and to meet a need that others can't. And
company by company.
Company by company, and to build the ability to deliver that. And capabilities are the magic in that, as I keep saying.
Cesare Minardi, thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to meet you.